Добре дојдовте во неделното интервју на Радио Слободна Европа. Наш денешен гостин е британскиот амбасадор во земјава, неговата екселенција Кристофер Ивон. Амбасадоре, во последниот извештај за напредокот на нашата земја, кој што беше оценет како позитивен, Унијата предложи отпочнување на преговорите, но за прв пат името, односно прашањето за името, доби временска рамка, односно услов да се реши во раната фаза. Какви резултати според вас може да даде ваквиот концепт?
I think I would echo something you've said, that I thought the progress report was very positive. I think it really underlined significant areas where progress has been achieved, and in that regard it is a very positive report. For the question about the name issue, a resolution to the name issue has been described in previous progress reports as remaining essential. I think there is a slightly different characteristic in this year's enlargement strategy. I don't think it's possible to say at the moment what results it will achieve, because the United Kingdom is still studying very carefully the detail of the progress report. I'm sure other member states are taking a very close look at the detail too. And as Commissioner Füle said in his press conference, it will be for the member states to decide later this year what their collective response to the enlargement strategy and the progress report will be, including whether the member states want to take up the Commission's offer of preparing a negotiating framework, which of course, as the Commission suggests, could include something around the name issue being tackled early on in the accession process.
Што значи терминот рана фаза и колку според вас оваа временска рамка може да се растегнува?
Well, the Commission has not been any more specific than saying early. So I think we just have to take that at face value. It's not a scientific process, so we can't put a particular date on it. So I just think we take it at face value early in the process, whatever that may mean to different people in the way they interpret it.
Реални ли се според вас очекувањата на македонските власти за добивање датум на декемврискиот самит на Европската Унија?
Well, I don't know what those expectations are, so it's very hard for me to make a judgment about whether they are realistic or not, but I think it is credible to feel very encouraged by what's written in the progress report, and that's because it reflects significant progress made in many areas in EU integration. So I think certainly the progress report should give every encouragement, and that's what it's designed to do. Whether the expectation levels are right and reasonable, it's hard for me to take a judgment on.
Амбасадоре, дали според вас една од причините поради која Европската Унија се одлучи да ја даде четврти пат поред препорака за почеток на преговорите на Македонија е опасноста од влошување на меѓуетничките односи во земјава?
I'm not sure that's the reason. I mean, when I read the enlargement strategy, I think actually it is the other way round. I think if you look at it, the Commission is saying moving to the next stage of the enlargement process will help strengthen interethnic relations. So it's not so much a reaction to the situation in Macedonia, it is more looking at the potential to provide every encouragement to strengthen and improve interethnic relations. After all, the Ohrid Framework Agreement, to take one example, is part of the high-level accession dialogue. So you can see how the two do go hand in hand, and I think that's what the Commission is actually saying: support strengthening interethnic relations through the EU integration process.
Но која е вашата оценка за степенот на меѓуетничка доверба во земјава? Во последниот период честа беше појавата на тепачки помеѓу македонци и албанци во автобусите.
Well, I think the Ohrid Framework Agreement is a living document reflecting that the journey goes on and on. And I come from a country that, of course, has had problems in Northern Ireland between communities where trust and confidence has had to been built up from perhaps quite a low level. I think in the 11 years that have passed since 2001, that journey has been taken. I think it's a journey that will continue and continue, and it's difficult to say that project is ever complete. So I think it's not easy because people feel very emotional. When I speak to people, they have differing emotions and feel very sensitive often about the events of 2001. But clearly, there has been peace since 2001. There has been a great deal of effort in areas such as decentralisation. I'm sure people would argue often that more needs to be done, but I think that continued effort and that continued commitment to interethnic relations is the right way forward.
Како гледате на односите во владината коалиција и несогласувањата кои што постојат помеѓу коалиционите партнери? Опозицијата, но и дел од невладините организации велат дека владините партнери креираат тензии во општеството. Дали според вас актуелната владеачка коалиција на вистински начин се справува со етничките проблеми во земјава?
Well, it's hard for me to talk about the relationships between the parties. I mean, as an ambassador, I'm not expected to talk about party politics in my own country or relationships between the parties, nor do I do that here. Whether they are successful in tackling the situation here, whether the coalition government has the right prescription for the country, that's a decision for voters to take, not for ambassadors, in my view.
Според вас, на реформите во кои области Македонија треба повеќе да работи?
If I had to identify a few areas, I would say there are areas that the UK is very heavily involved with. So, for example, public administration is one area where we are running a project at the moment. We have a project in supporting the strengthening of Parliament as well. And of course, if you look at the progress report, freedom of expression, strengthening the judiciary, and of course, many of the economic challenges as well. We have a UK project aimed at improving employability, trying to make sure that the education that people get at university empowers them and equips them with the skills that they will need that are relevant to what the marketplace wants to see. So there are a few areas there where the UK is very, very heavily involved, and so that takes up quite a bit of my interest and time.
Во извештајот останаа стандардните забелешки во однос на слободата на медиумите. Кога последен пат ве прашавме за оваа тема, изразивте загриженост околу степенот на доверба на граѓаните во медиумите. Дали се уште го имате ваквиот впечаток и како да се натераат граѓаните повеќе да им веруваат на медиумите?
Well, I think looking back at the progress report, as you said, I don't think we should lose sight of one thing, and that is there was a great deal of praise given for the efforts to tackle decriminalisation of defamation. So it clearly shows that steps have been taken in tackling this particular challenge. There is, of course, more work to do, and the progress report talks around the issue of advertising, self-censorship, and around the fact that there is no self-regulatory body as well in Macedonia. So there is clearly a lot of work to do, and those are the areas to tackle. In terms of public trust and confidence, I mean, you have to ask people in Macedonia how they feel about the issue to get a better answer, I suspect. Here, when I talk to people, they do talk about concerns around media freedoms, and that tells me there is an indication there of an area where more effort needs to be applied in able to build up that confidence. But that first step, as mentioned in the progress report around decriminalisation of defamation, has been taken. And if there are areas where the UK can provide its support, obviously we're happy to consider areas that we can share any experiences from the UK too.
Ви благодарам што бевте наш гостин.
Thank you very much.
Вам, почитувани, ви благодарам за вниманието. Довидување за 7 дена.